I think it goes without saying that Onimusha Warlords is a huge contributor to why I play certain video games. Onimusha Warlords is a hack-and-slash adventure-style role-playing video game set within the time period of the Warring States in Japan. However, the video game itself is not an actual realistic depiction, but a fictional and albeit goofy situation of historic Japan. Released in 2001 on the PlayStation 2 by Capcom, this video game was one of the many early successes during that time frame. My father loved to play all sorts of video games back in the day. He would go and literally buy video games that he thought were fun or interesting, just because of what they looked like. During the 2000s, my father bought many different but similar kinds of video games to match his tastes. Little did he know, however, that his children would instead be playing these games he bought. That's right, ultimately, my brother, sister, and I would be the ones that would play these games my father would buy and bring home. Of course, my father would eventually play these games when we were in bed or away from the gaming setup. However, I did not say that he was very adept at finishing his video games. Frustration after frustration of being unable to beat a boss or solve a puzzle within a time limit would eventually lead my brother and I to help our dear old dad finish the video game, thus resulting into my introduction of the realm of a demon-infested warring state of Japan. The awesome part of Onimusha Warlords is the ability to control a character in an environment that is teeming with problems. You can go from an area to area, fighting enemies that are unique, equipping weapons that match a situation, or simply discovering something new entirely. All of the weapon pickups, the economic distribution of souls gathered from defeated enemies, your health bar and magic meter, and practice mastery of combat blend well within the balancing of this game. By the time you reach the end of the game, you really do feel a sense of accomplishment, not only in your understanding, but the ability to face each enemy or puzzle encountered without fear. This type of gameplay is absolutely sublime when you realize that you are getting better and better throughout the course of the game. The mechanics within the game are without a doubt the best feature the game has to offer. Combat is a struggle of timing, skill, patience, and a bit of luck factored in, all of which feels absolutely organic when facing normal enemies to even bosses. The ability to get that critical hit right before an enemy strikes at your character is an absolutely satisfying payoff for leaving yourself exposed to danger. The lock-on strafing movement, blocking ability, and attacking states all have a unique dynamic function to pull you through every enemy in the game. The other mechanics in the game, soul vacuuming, interaction with other characters, investigations, and so on, open up a plethora of fun activities to learn and discover as you advance through the game. Unfortunately, the story for Onimusha Warlords is downright goofy. Nobunaga Oda, clan chief and pivotal warrior for bringing Japan together during the Warring States, turns to demons for help. He is entrusted power, but at the cost of his humanity. You play as Samanosuke Akechi and his helpful ninja aide Kaede. Samanosuke is a distinguished samurai who is sought after for help by a troubled princess named Yuki. Yuki is actually abducted by demons by the behest of Nobunaga for a demonic and evil ritual. The story tries very hard to take itself seriously, which leaves for some absolutely funny and giggle moments.
Defeat and seal their souls to your right hand. What? Destroy all the demons!
So, fortune has smiled upon me this day. With the power of this gauntlet, I will destroy all of those monsters and save the princess!
My lord, we have taken Lord Sudoga's head!
You cannot help but laugh at the scenes that play out. They are, in every sense, cringeworthy and downright cheesy. However, that is the charm of it all. Even though the story is ridiculous overall, I love it for what it is. You can still find yourself being able to follow along Samanosuke as a hero pretty easily without getting confused. The hallmark of the story really is a conquest of simplicity rather than the complexity. Onimusha Warlords is ranked 11th on the list because I felt that the video game helped open new doors. The video game brought a new type of cultural entertainment from Japan itself, opened my idea up to understanding what a hack and slash game genre is, and introduced me subtly to the concept of horror. Without Onimusha Warlords, I do not think some of my top 10 video games of all time would even be on the list. Thank you, Dad, for buying this video game. With the prerequisite video games out of the way, you should now have a bit of context of what to expect going forward with my chosen list. Right? What are you thinking my favorite game of all time is? I won't tell you now, but the answer is always more fun to discover than being told outright. Anyways, these 4 titles, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, F-Zero X, and Onimusha Warlords are all huge contributing factors to my top 10, as well as just being fantastic video games in their own right. I loved playing all of these games at some point in my life, and even now, I still go back and replay these games from time to time. During the introduction of the video series, I mentioned that I would explain the purpose of the prerequisite video games. I will do that now. All 4 of these video games embody some unique trait. Can you guess them? I'll let you take a stab at it for a moment. Futuristic, strong narrative story, great design, fantastic music, militaresque, engaging gameplay, and so on. This is not to say I play nothing but these types of video games, it's just that my top 10 happen to fall in line with these unique traits. Now then, the list of my top 10 video games of all time will begin in the next episode of the video series. I thank you all for watching and hope you've enjoyed my content thus far. I'm your host, Richard Dahlm, and this is Pondersaur, Words with a Roar.